Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and vows to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today Maharaj is not available, so I requested Sridevi Mataji to give class. So we are very happy to have Her Grace Sridevi Mataji to give class for all of us and continue the series of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 11th chapter, verse number 14. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for your time and association for all of us. You can please take over. I'll share my screen.
Thank you, Srimati. Please accept my humble obeisances, dear Srimati, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our wonderful Guru Maharaj, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to Sadhu Sangha, all glories to the ISKCON Society for Krishna Consciousness. Thank you so much for assembling. It's morning here. It may be afternoon for some of you and evening, but here we are come together to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and the Supreme Lord Krishna. Welcome and thank you. Please, I humbly request all of you to please give me your blessings so that I may be able to speak something which is elevating, edifying, enlivening, and purifying for all of us. Thank you very much. So we are continuing our series of lectures. I'll begin with the invocation prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Praeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse number 14 goes like this. Samarjita Mahamarga Rathyapanaka Chatvaram Tiktam Gandha Jalair Uptam Palapushpa Shatan Kuraihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The highways, subways, lanes, markets, and public meeting places were all thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with scented water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and unbroken seeds were strewn everywhere. Purport. Scented waters prepared by distilling flowers like rose and kevada were requisitioned to wet the roads, streets, and lanes of Dwarka Dham. Such places, along with the marketplace and public meeting places, were thoroughly cleansed. From the above description, it appears that the city of Dwarka Dham was considerably big, containing many highways, streets, and public meeting places with parks, gardens, and reservoirs of water, all very nicely decorated with flowers and fruits. And to welcome the Lord, such flowers and fruits with unbroken seeds of grain were also strewn over the public places. Unbroken seeds of grain or fruits in the seedling stage were considered auspicious, and they are still so used by the Hindus in general on festival days. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So where is this description and what is going on and which is this highway and who is the person being glorified? What is going on over here? Lord Sri Krishna has returned to Dwarka. He had spent a considerable amount of time in Hastinapur on the behest of Yudhishthir Maharaj, and now he is returning to Dwarka, and all the citizens are beside themselves with joy. The queens are beside themselves with joy. All the relatives, friends, family, and the queens of Dwarka, the citizens of Dwarka, indeed all living entities are very joyful because the Lord is coming back. So when Lord Krishna heralded his arrival with the conch shell, everyone became enlivened to receive their Lord, the Prince, the King of their hearts, back into their homes. And this is also the Rath Yatra. We want to pull the Lord back into our heart. We just had the Rath Yatra, so that's why I'm remembering that. So, how do we worship the Lord? How do we invite a great personality? How do we glorify the return of Sri Krishna? This was done in the following way. Everything was thoroughly cleansed. And then to induce a beautiful fragrance everywhere, they sprayed all the lanes, byways, parks, city roads, everything with scented water. How is this scented water made? They take the petals of all these flowers and steep it in the water so that that scent enters into the water. And now the scented water is sprayed everywhere. And I still remember in childhood, my mother making scented water with mogra, with jasmine, like this. So there's a special flower called kevra. Kevra, the English word for it is screw pine. I looked it up just because I wanted to know what is the English name for kevra. But it is very well known in India that it has a very nice fragrance. So these beautiful fragrant smelling flowers like rose, jasmine, kevra, mogra, champa, then chameli, and all these beautiful flowers give a very nice fragrance. And this scented water is sprayed everywhere to make a very welcoming atmosphere, very auspicious atmosphere. So we can see, as Srila Prabhupada says, how beautifully everything was decorated and how beautifully it was made ready for the arrival of the Lord. So now what is the description of this city being explained over here? So it says that it was considerably big, containing highways, streets, public meeting places with parks, gardens, reservoirs of water. This is how a city is decorated, not with garbage heaps, slums, congestion everywhere, shops springing up wherever, anyhow illegal construction that goes on over here now in all cities everywhere. Shanty towns, very poor sanitation, no proper resting places, no parks. Even here in Mayapur, there is such indiscriminate construction going on right, left, center, that it is alarming to see how there isn't any public place. Now they're trying to make some community park, garden like that. But really speaking, there is no place for children even to play. There is no greenery anywhere to soothe the mind and spirit, because we need to have a nice, pleasing atmosphere for even mental peace. Mental health is actually directly related to nature. The more we are in nature, the more our spirits, minds get renewed and recharged. Man has actually spoiled his life by being only in touch with the concrete jungle. But it was not so in the early days. There were parks with beautiful, fragrant flowers, fruits, trees were giving nice shade along with fruits and flowers. Nowadays, we have all kinds of trees. They give nothing practically. They're just there on the concrete sidewalk. And if they give shade, we consider ourselves lucky. And they're not very deep-rooted either. So easily when a storm comes, they just topple over and they block the road. So that is another mishap that happens in today's world. But in the olden days, it was not like that. Mango trees, oak trees, pipal trees, banyan trees, all this audumbara, that is also another very auspicious tree. All these coconut trees, plantain trees, all these were planted everywhere because they would give fruits. And these fruits are considered very, very auspicious. Even today, plantain, mango, all these fruits are used in auspicious ceremonies. So the Lord was welcomed with such fruits and flowers and unbroken seeds of grain. In India, you will see, and in any place where puja is being done, there will be rice, there will be wheat, there will be barley, there'll be sesame seeds, there'll sometimes be peanuts also, and then there's also dry fruits, nuts such as almonds, cashews, raisins, dates, pistachio, walnuts. All these things are offered to the Lord to welcome him and to glorify him and to please him. So unbroken seeds of grain or fruits in the seedling stage were considered auspicious, and they are still so used by the Hindus in general on festival days. That's why when you enter an arena where a puja is being performed, you will see a big plantain banana stem canopy. You will see, the leaves and the stems are put on the four corners. There's a mandap made, and in the center, there's the homa where the sacrifice is being performed. The pujari arranges everything, and you will see all sacred paraphernalia. There will be ghee, there will be incense, there will be camphor, there will be wood, there will be all these unbroken grains, as we mentioned, there'll be fruits, flowers, everything there. Why? To worship the Lord. This is how the Lord is to be worshipped. So we're getting a very nice description of how to worship the Lord, how to glorify the Lord, how to welcome the Lord into our hearts. And Arjuna got very concerned in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, exactly mentioning all these things, saying, how will community projects go on? He was also very concerned that if everyone is killed in the battlefield, how will the normal life go on? He was that concerned even about the citizens, what to speak of the women and children who will be widowed. He was concerned, what will happen to community projects? So community projects is also the responsibility of the leadership. It is not that, do whatever you like. Okay, land is given and then anything is done. No, there was proper master plan made. There should be resting places. There should be nice parks. There should be ponds filled with lotuses, with swans, because all this is very soothing for the mind, body, and spirit. This is very soothing and very auspicious. That is why all these things were arranged. People who are going on long distances, journeys, were provided with what is called dharmashala. That means a resting place. And it was either free or at a very subsidized cost. There was no fancy hotel, motel, with motel patels making tons of money as we have here all over the world. I mean, this is just the feature of Kali Yuga. We are not singling out any person. This is what happens today. But in the olden days, it was not so. People understood that those going on long journeys will need a resting place. And people also made provisions for cool drinking water. From time to time, there used to be water fountains for people to slake their thirst. All this was done by the leadership so that the citizens could live happily and progress towards the real goal of human life, which is what? Love of Krishna. So let's take a look at Arjuna's concern because it is quite relevant. Let's go to verse, let's see. 142, I believe, of Bhagavad Gita. I think, let me just, let's go to chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 42, where Arjuna is saying, what will happen to community projects? Varna Shankara, yes. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Purport: community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. So we should not think that, oh, what is all this? Parks, reservoirs of water, ponds, flowers, fruits, trees. What difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference. As I said before, our mental health depends on our connection with nature, actually. Our bodies follow the circadian rhythm, as they say. Our energies peak at noon and then slowly wane. And then it's time for bed. It's time to settle down. But here we are doing everything ulta. People get enlivened, or rather they wake up only afternoon. And then their day begins at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time it's 7 o'clock, they're just getting ready to party. And their life begins at 10 o'clock in the night when they start drinking, boozing, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, midnight parties and loud discordant music and heavy lights, strobe lights, pulsating light, this thing, that thing. Their bodies are revved up with all this artificial stuff. And by the time they go to bed, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, when actually it is time for the saints to arise and glorify the Lord. So that is why the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, what is night for all beings? This is a time of awakening for the saintly people. And what is the day for the saintly people is night for the conditioned souls. It's completely opposite now. And contact with nature and contact with mother cow. This is also lost now because they're killing mother cow. What they're doing nowadays is just letting her give birth to calves, and then after she is given milk, finish her off. This is how irresponsible, how blind the leaders are. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society. And consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. That's why we are seeing so many difficulties, so many problems. Life is actually very regulated. There are certain things to be done at certain times. Why did Srila Prabhupada go for an early morning walk every day? Because the doctor who came to check him up after his heart attack said, oh, the old man, he prays too much. He needs to get out and be out and about. So Brahmananda was very angry the way the doctor spoke. The doctor didn't know what a great personality he was actually treating. But Prabhupada was listening in the next room and he said, no, he has given a valuable suggestion. I'm going to take it up. And then the famous morning walks began. Yeah, we can go back to the main verse, my dear Srimati. So, why we are speaking all these things, we may say, what has this got to do with spirituality? It's got everything to do with spirituality. Remember, unless our material life is harmonious with our spiritual life, we will find it very difficult to prosecute Krishna consciousness. If we are living, a discordant life, we are waking up late, we are doing all kinds of other things, and then we are awake half the night, where is the question of spiritual life? Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is actually teaching people how to live, when to wake up, what to do after waking up, when to eat, when to sleep, what to read, whom to meet, where to go, the temple of the Lord, whom to meet, the devotees of the Lord, what to speak about, nothing but the Lord and his devotees, what to eat, nothing but Krishna Prasadam. And this is how one must live in order to achieve the perfection of human life. Unfortunately, man is going in the wrong direction, and it is becoming increasingly harder and harder just to live, just to have just normal health. One has to fight so hard because everything is designed to destroy the environment, the individual, the family. Family traditions are lost. I remember when I was a very young girl growing up, and mother every year she would do what is called Golu or Kolu. In the time of Navratri, she would bring out all the beautiful dolls. That was a family tradition. And steps were made. Right on top was Venkatramana Padmavati, that is the Lord himself in Kali Yuga. He is worshipped as Balaji. And then all other beautiful, dolls that she had collected. And then all of it was displayed nicely. Every evening there was Arti. Every evening she would call all the ladies. And Haldi Kumkum. There There was a special function called Haldi Kumkum. She would invite all the ladies. They were all given some nice prasadam. They were given a gift. You'd always buy a stainless steel pot or a plate or something useful for the home, or a dabba, as it is called, box. And kumkum, haldi, that means turmeric. And what do you say for kumkum? That red sundur powder is called kumkum. The coconut, a plantain, and all these things were offered to each and every lady who came to the house. And she did this every year for years. And it was her pride and joy to do this festival for the Lord. She went on doing it till she was in her 80s. But where we are doing it, her daughters. I think maybe one of my sisters is doing something, but she has given up of late. Our lives have become so fast-paced. Nobody has time to do all this stuff. Even if we invite people, they say, we have no time to come. The whole situation has completely changed. But this family tradition, I still remember it, and how much joy it gave for her to connect with other ladies. This is also very important for mental health, to maintain connections with people who care about us and whom we care about. Is also very significant for our physical health, mental health, and ultimately spiritual health. We don't connect with people. We just go about our work, come back home, eat alone, sleep alone, read alone, do things alone. This is city life. This is called city life. But it's a hellish existence, because man is wired for connection to significant others. We are meant to live together in community. We are meant to nurture, nourish, encourage, inspire, help one another to proceed towards the goal of human life, Krishna Prem. So our lives have to now be in tune with what we want to do. That is why Guru Maharaj is always stressing farm communities, isn't it? Because there the family traditions can again continue. People coming together, singing and dancing and worshipping the Lord, offering nice foodstuffs which they have grown themselves. There's such a difference. I'm here in a home where a young couple is having a preaching center, and they have a garden where they're growing their own vegetables, fruits, flowers, etc. And you won't believe this. One cucumber, the first cucumber of the garden we had for salad, it was so different from what is in the marketplace. So different in taste. Crunchy, sweet, tender, all at once. It was wonderful. And I was remembering Srila Prabhupada's words, what you grow is 100 times more valuable than what is available in the marketplace. Really, it is so. Why? Because right from the time it is planted, we get the seeds, we plant them with love and devotion, we water the seeds, we take care of the plant, we harvest it, then we cook it, and then we offer it to the Lord. That food is very different from what we just buy. Ready chapatis are available as tortillas. They're called tortillas. You just bring it, heat it on the oven and eat it up. No rolling it out with love and devotion, no sauteing it on the frying pan, just direct, put it like that only and eat. What to do? No time. So ready food, frozen food, people buy frozen food, they can just come, bring it, heat it up and eat it. All these things are destroying man's health. All this thing actually is giving rise to so many diseases, because they put so many chemicals, preservatives, just to make the food last longer. They put all kinds of things, and we don't even know what we are putting in our bodies anymore. It has become so difficult just to have normal health. But in the olden days, it was not like that. Everything was done in a very systematic, organized, scientific, beautiful, health-inducing, spiritually sanctifying way. So our Krishna consciousness movement is the only movement now which is going to save the world in its darkest hour, to reverse this trend of destroying the environment, destroying the rivers, destroying the nature, destroying trees, destroying and polluting the air. Everything is going down the drain. Unless we take up this mission of Krishna consciousness very seriously, how are we going to reverse this trend? It's not possible. Cleansing the heart, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, must come first, and then everything will get clean. But now we have piles of garbage. By 2040, they say There will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. I mean, marine life. By fish, I mean all marine life. Huh? This is the way we are polluting and destroying everything. How are we going to eat? How are we going to live? What kind of water we will drink? No one cares. This is our situation today. But look at how Dwaraka city was, how beautiful it was. But this is not the situation. Many people are living homeless under bridges. They have no access even to basic facilities. They live out of soup kitchens. They get some food. Personal hygiene, forget it. When they have bath, who knows? It's like this. No wonder diseases are becoming more and more. No wonder problems are increasing more and more. People are eating abominable things, living abominable lives, living less than animal life. Our situation is very grave, dear spirit souls. And each and every one of us is called upon to try our level best to practice Krishna consciousness nicely and then give this knowledge to others. That is the only way we can save the planet. We can save ourselves first and then try to save others. You might say, what is this, Mataji? We are not saviors of the world. Srila Prabhupada is the savior. Yes, of course, Srila Prabhupada is the savior, but he has given us the formula. He has given us the instructions. He has given us the protocol to be followed. So yes, we cannot do great things, but as Mother Teresa says, we can do no great things, but we can do many small things with great love. So whatever little bit we do, we must put our heart and soul into it, trying to please Krishna, trying to say, oh Krishna, I'm very small, I'm just a little ant, practically useless. But even as a little ant, let me carry 1 grain of sand to build Lord Ram's bridge. So like this, every one of us can do something small for the Hare Krishna movement, for this great mission of Lord Chaitanya, who wants that all living entities live in peace and prosperity by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and reverse this trend of Kali Yuga, where Manda Sumanda Matayo, everything is reducing. Lifespan is reducing, physical strength is reducing, memory power is reducing, spiritual inclinations are reducing, relationships are going haywire, health is going down, everything is going down. But there is one redeeming feature in this age of Kali. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain to the highest perfection of life. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, asti hi eko mahan gunaha, kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangam param vrajet. My dear king, although this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is one great redeeming feature. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain to the kingdom of God. I'm paraphrasing this, it's not the exact words, but this is the one great feature that has come, the holy name, which is our supreme savior and protection against all the evil forces of Kali. We can stave off the effects of Kali simply by taking shelter of the holy name and engaging in the process of devotional service. We can actually make our hearts clean places where the Lord will be happy to come and perform his pastimes in our heart. Yes, it can happen. And Srila Prabhupada said, you will have a spiritual television in your heart where you will see the pastimes of the Lord. You will be able to enter the pastimes of the Lord. Of course, this is all very elevated stage. We don't even know of all these things. We simply hear of them and simply repeat. But this is actually the goal of human life, to purify our existence so that we can actually go back home, back to Godhead. So I hope that was pleasing to all of you. And we can now open up for comments, questions, sharing, discussion, and corrections.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for touching many points through this verse. So they are really very helpful to think about how actually we are living and not close to the nature. And as you said, growing your own food, a lot of things. Yeah, this Mataji. Definitely, I experienced this one. Like when we grow our own food, the joy is different. Like we feel so happy to see the fresh vegetables in our backyard and offering them to the Lord and having the taste. That's very different, Mataji.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a whole, there's a beautiful picture. Srila Prabhupada was once on a farm and someone had given him a brinjal, eggplant.
Mm.
Lovingly holding that brinjal and looking at it for such a long time. And he was so happy. He was just overjoyed just to see what they had grown. And that's when he said that what you grow is 100 times more valuable than what is available in the market.
Yeah, even I see a lot of places they are encouraging the people to grow their own food, and also we have a lot of YouTube videos how to do it in our backyards, or even though we have small spaces or no place at all, and even in the terrace gardens or in the apartments in the balconies, we can grow food, and many videos are available in YouTube also.
Absolutely, absolutely. We
Protect.
can even keep, yes, very, very good point you have said. We can even keep bees.
Mm.
Bees are the pollinators. They are the very important for completing the food cycle. Without the bees, we cannot even survive actually. Our food depends on bees. And they're spraying so many pesticides and killing bee population. So we can change all this by making a small contribution back positively to nature. By, as you said, even if it's a balcony, even if it's a small backyard, even if it's, tiny space, and composting. So much, vegetable peels, fruit peels, paper, this thing, that thing. By composting and using that compost along with cow dung will make our products so, bountiful.
Yeah, instead of buying outside fertilizers, we can make our own fertilizer for the plants. And yeah,
Right.
For Tulsi Marani, it is very good to have the compost.
Right.
Nice, Machaji. Thank you for all this. Definitely, devotees will have some discussion points here. I encourage devotees, please turn on your cameras if possible, and also please go ahead and ask your questions or comments or any thoughts you want to share. This is a wonderful topic to discuss. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Nice to see you all. Rajvilasmi Mataji, Revati Mataji. Okay. Any questions or comments? Yeah, Revati Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Revati. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. I don't have any particular questions, but thank you so much for helping us, understand, how important it is to have that harmonious life, and how we are, away from this nature, and we are trying to really work hard, as Guru Maharaj book also says, so many things, how we are struggling hard, which is not really necessary. And we have stated all those points. It's really very important for us to, learn to live naturally, not putting a lot of efforts in unnecessary things, which we're really struggling hard right now.
Yeah, when we come together in community, all these problems are mitigated. It becomes shared labor. Each one of us struggling for the same thing alone, compared to 10, 15 people coming together and doing the same thing, makes it joyful, makes it easy. There's a famous saying, many hands make light work. So imagine how easy it will be for us to raise our children, to cook together, to have food together, to worship the Lord together, to read together. Now everything is such a struggle because each of us is alone fighting the current of Kali Yuga. But when we come together, we are united like that. There's so much power simply by coming together and doing things.
Yes, Mataji, very true. Because here also, because we don't have a labor much, even to execute devotional service, as we have to do everything by ourselves. We still struggle a lot, even though it's a joyous experience, but we are struggling because of, we are alone. If
Right.
we
Lack
together.
of community makes such a huge difference to our spiritual life.
Yes, Mataji, very true. Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Nice comments.
Mataji, I was wondering, like when you are telling about farm community and when even Guru Maharaj always encourages that, right? So I was thinking, like, we are so many years, we are used to this type of life, city life, with all the comforts and different aspects. But when we go actually to the farm community, we don't know how to live there, first of all. And I think we'll be more confused. That's why we are not taking that step. So we are not able to imagine how the life will be and how to change ourselves and or adapt that type of environment or that type of lifestyle with like simple living lifestyle. So that's very difficult to imagine. That's why I feel like we are not thinking seriously about taking a step towards that.
That is why first we must acquaint ourselves with successful farm communities. We must visit these places where devotees are doing so nicely. Nice farm project is the Hungary Eco Krishna Valley project. There is the Govardhan Eco Village in Maharashtra, which is going on very, very nicely. There are many other farm communities. Some are there in Indonesia. Gita Nagari is there. Then New Vrindavan farm community, which we just visited. We didn't see the farming part of it, but I believe something is going on there also. They're trying to become self-sufficient. They're trying to grow their own food. So when we see others doing it successfully, then we feel encouraged to try and do it ourselves. As one lady said, all the fear is beforehand. But once you actually do it and realize, wow, this is so wonderful, you'll never go back to that lifestyle again. She said like that. So we have to actually witness it ourselves and understand from people who have done it successfully how to do it. And then we will feel encouraged to do it as I'm also just learning all these things. I also grew up in a city. I also don't know, exactly how it is to be done. But I'm simply trying my best to follow words of Gurudev, who has told me, at least talk about it, inspire others to move towards this, like this. So just baby steps. We are all just taking baby steps. And my hope is that one day we will actually be able, even if 5 families come together, buy a little plot of land, keep mother cow, grow our own, even that will make a difference. We don't have to have big, big projects. Just 4 or 5 families coming together, unitedly serving Guru and Krishna. Guru Maharaj will be so pleased and our lives will be so much better. Really so much better. We don't realize it, but actually the instructions of the Guru are our life and soul, and the mercy comes from the instructions. So if we take it up seriously, we will be able to see the changes happen and we will be able to make it happen. But if we are not serious, or if we are not, feeling encouraged about it, we will not do it. We will still be stuck in our little grooves, unwilling to change or unwilling to take that step. But how much we are suffering already, what a price we are paying already. Just think about it. How stressful our lives are, how difficult our lives are, how much just to put food on the table and have a place to sleep, how much we are struggling. And we don't even get nice food to eat. Who gets ahimsa milk? Who gets milk product? We don't even have proper ghee, butter, yogurt anymore. We have to manage with all kinds of things, that we don't even like to offer the Lord. Few of us are lucky to get access to those things, but that's what I'm saying. Everything is such a struggle. Our children, even if you ask them to play, there's nowhere to play. How many people have luxury to a nice park or a garden or anything? Gone. Children, you know what they play with? Video games, cartoons, TV, this thing, that thing. They've forgotten how to run, how to play with others. That also is not there anymore. No wonder we're having so many problems in children now. Mental health problems are increasing so much. I was shocked when my friend told me that in her daughter's class, teenagers, 12, 13-year-olds, this is a city in USA, 4 or 5 of her classmates were going for therapy. Young girls, 12, 13 years old. What are their problems? Body image problems, eating disorder problems, ADHD problem, this problem, that, all sorts of things which are totally unnecessary and superfluous. We don't need these problems. All this is modern lifestyle is giving rise to all these. And then because there's no exercise, sedentary, obesity, and then all the other problems that go with that also.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Namrata Mataji, you have a question or comment?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our dear Guru Maharaj, and all glories
Please
to
accept mine. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Gurudev.
So, I'm really sorry for the background voices. I'm not at my place, I'm here at the hospital. So, two things. The first thing is, you mentioned about the ladies of the puja, which you mentioned Venkateshwara Padmavati puja. Yeah. So I think this kind of practices are still there in India at different places, but here in Gujarat and Maharashtra side, I mean this zone, I have seen this kind of practices for Shakti, which is the demigod. So even I have seen around in my surrounding atmosphere, but I was little confused that we should do these kind of pujas or not, because this was offered to Shakti. So I was just willing to clarify that.
So all traditions can be linked to the Supreme Lord, and we worship the Supreme Lord. So instead of putting Durga Devi on top, we can put Durga Devi little lower down. First, the Supreme Lord on the altar and his consort. Then the lower steps traditionally were demigods. Shiva, Ganesh, Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati. Like that, they would display the demigods. Then they would have dolls, different kinds of dolls showing village scenes. Someone is drawing water from a well. Someone is, like this different kind of dolls were there. So the hierarchy was there. Nowadays, everything is mixed up because people don't realize it. But there is nothing to stop us from doing the things in the proper sequence and in the proper way. On the altar, we can have, demigods and demigoddesses, but they must always be below the Supreme Lord.
Okay, but I think traditionally here they're offering these things, the prashadam and all this. All this is first offered to Shakti and then they give it to children. So I was just wondering that.
No, it should be first offered to Lord Krishna, then
Yeah.
that Adam should be offered to the demigods, demigoddesses, whoever, and then partake of the Mahaprashadam of the Lord. That is the way it is to be done. So, we don't offer to demigoddesses or demigods and take that. We don't consider is prashadam. It must be offered to Krishna, and then his remnants are offered to everyone. So out of respect, we offer to anybody. So we offer to the demigods also. Because if you have Ganesh on the altar, you don't want to keep him starving. You invite a guest, we don't keep them starving. So it's like offering to a guest.
Yes.
So we offer respects, we offer prashadam, but we don't worship the demigod or the demigod. That's what we made very clear, that we worship Krishna.
Okay, thank you. The second thing I wanted to say, what Srimati Mataji was also saying, that we have been grown up in city atmosphere, and it's, we shifting to the farm communities, we give a thought. I mean, it keeps us taking back somewhere. But I just wanted to share my experience that I have been married to a person. My Prabhuji is belonging to a community. I mean, he has been in a lot of contact with farming right from his childhood, and then in the later age he shifted to the city. So, and still he is the person who has been so much connected to the farm. They always have the attraction towards farm, even though they grow up in cities later on, but they keep having that attraction, and they go back. So I have also got some chance to stay in the farm life at some instances, maybe in the vacations of my child, but still I have got those kind of chance. So I can say that even those staying in the cities, if you make baby steps, I feel it is possible. Making, maybe you can't suddenly shift, but then staying, if we get a farm community, we can opt to stay for a period of time, and then get used to that kind of life, come back again to where you were, and then slowly you can shift towards that life. So this is what I was thinking to do, even because GV is near my place. So I got a community who every Sunday they go for Shramadan Seva. So I've got a group, fortunately, with the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. I've got that group. So I've got that chance. So me and my son, we both go for the Seva at GV for a day, and then we explore that place. We meet some devotees, and then talking about how they work out that place. So that is one step that I took. Maybe Krishna will arrange something more for me. So,
And you're absolutely correct. It's a transition. We can't suddenly jump into something without knowing. So we have to transition, get familiar, get acquainted, connect, make connections, build relationships, understand, and then contribute. And then we can think of actual moving to a particular place or start a place of our own, whatever it is. We have to first start getting familiar with all these things. So you're taking that step, and that is really and truly wonderful, because just think how much your child will benefit from this.
yes, Mataji. I can feel it. I can see that. So yeah, I'm totally looking forward to that. Slowly, baby steps will go towards that. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Maybe
Hare
we
Krishna.
finally have one child who doesn't get addicted to cell phones, video games, but is addicted to cow patting, making cow dung cakes, planting trees, running up and down, trees. That's natural childhood. Maybe we will have one child like that.
Yes, devotee's child, they grow up in that atmosphere. I'm glad we have those kind of children in our God family. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Namrata Mataji, you have a very nice opportunity like that. Very nice.
Now, Brajavilasini actually grew up in a village setting.
Mm.
Drink milk directly when the cows were being milked. She told me that herself. They had 40 to 50 cows.
Mm.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Krishna? Pleasure.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Please accept my
Yeah,
humble obeisance
humble
in
obeisance.
Rajvilasini. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev.
Yeah, Maharaj. So I grew up in, I mean, I grew up over there in a vacation time. I used to go on my village, they like spend vacations. And like early in the morning, we had to, they like my uncle, they making us wake up and go to the farm and pluck the like the vegetables and everything, and that was really, really like wonderful experience. I'm still remember that. And like as Namrata Mataji says that, okay, when you grew up on that like childhood, you grew up on that kind of environment, you still have a like a feeling that you want to go back to that kind of environment again. That's what I'm feeling right now. Me and my Prabhuji both were like, okay, when we retired, we just want to go back home and like we want to spend time in our village area and like some kind of farming and this things, So yeah, you have a tendency that we want to go back to and do it that kind of a life, want to spend this kind of a life. So we still like let's see how is work out. That's our plan right now. And I talked to the Guru Maharaj too last week when he was here, and Guru Maharaj give us a little like kind of points and stuff. So let's see how it's worked. That's like it's a baby step. It's not gonna be happen overnight.
Right.
So I know like you mentioned that like we had to 5 or 6 families have to get together and start it. So I was wondering like how should we get those 5-6 families to be together? That's I was wondering like who gonna be like give up this kind of like city life and they can come back over there and spend because remember I told you about that one conference that like we have a like land in Surat.
Surat.
And yeah, so we talked to the Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj says it's a good idea, go for it, But then like we still have to think about it, like because here we have like I cannot wind up right away right now and I'll just go over there, because it's gonna take me some time to do these things, like So let's see, but like if it's Guru Maharaj mercy and everything's happened, then definitely we want to go back home in India and we want to spend like our rest of the life over there. That's what our planning yet. So let's see how it's worked out. And farming, yeah, like farming, you were encouraged like in your backyard. We do the farming. We grow our own vegetables and everything. And Guru Maharaj said, yeah, it is kind of when you do it from the beginning, when you got like digging your ground and planting all the vegetables and everything, it's all called bhakti, and it's that's when you offering everything, then you offering to the Krishna. This starting from there is all bhakti. So that's very wonderful things to do it, And I usually every summer I do in my backyard. I have a little space, so I do my own grown vegetables and everything. So I really love to do the gardening.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, you're so lucky, you're so blessed that you already have all this knowledge. People like us are just starting from scratch. We don't know how to do even the simple basic things. We have no idea because we have no exposure, no experience, nothing. So it is so wonderful simply to hear all these things. And my hope and prayer is that we will all get inspired to move in that direction and actually make it happen. How it's going to happen, when it is happen, maybe it won't happen in my lifetime, I don't know. But at least I can do my bit to create awareness and to create interest and perhaps to get some transition happening at least. I don't know. I've made a series of lectures on the eco village, but after that, it's just like, okay, we heard Sridevi Mataji, and now what?
Exactly. That's the point, like no one's coming forward, That's the other things, because everyone has their own thing. So
Right. So that's where we are sort of stopped now. We'll see what Krishna has in mind.
Exactly. Right.
Talking to Gurudev will be helpful for me to understand what I need to do, what direction I need to go, and where I need to put my energies. Because without reciprocation, what is the point of me putting energy over and over again saying, the same thing or doing the same thing? Because I would like to also have reciprocation for all these things, then I will feel like putting my energy to go forward, find land, do this, do that. But when there is no reciprocation, I have to also think, what should I do next?
Hmm. Yeah. So even that today's days, like even my grandpa's house, they're still doing the cows. They have a cows things, and last month they were in the news how they nurturing the cows and how they getting the milk out of it. Then like it was in the news, it was they were sending with all the pictures and everything, how they doing it with the music. They're putting the music for the cows and they give more milk. Cows gives them more milk and everything.
Mm.
So yeah, they're
Yeah,
still
there's-
doing it, and they're still doing it over there. Back
Right,
home.
right. And you will be very happy to know that May, there is a Gau Raksha expo. Just like how they have these big expos for different industrial products. Now they have come together in Surat, somewhere in Gujarat, and they're going to international expo on Gau products. That means all products related to mother cow. They're asking investors to come. They're asking people to invest in mother cow. They're sharing, what resources they have, and they want to make it a large scale venture. It is a state government thing. It is sponsored by some people who have come together, some industrialists and so on. If you want, I will share it on the WhatsApp group, or to whoever is interested. They're asking people to come and make a good business. It's actually a business venture by inviting people to invest in mother cow.
Yeah, send me that information so that I can share it with them,
Okay.
And if they might be know it, but I have no idea, but who knows, So, but just share it with me so I can send it to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Mataji's nice discussion. Dear devotees, any more comments or questions or any realizations you want to share? Okay, or if you want to share with us, like when you are going to start a new farm, please tell us so. Thank you. Shilpesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Please accept mine, Shilpesh Prabhu. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to Gurudev.
Yeah, it's amazing what you read in the Bhagavatam. It just shows, you have to connect the dots sometimes. That's what I find. But like we're talking about seeds, fruits, flowers. Like even today now, the modern science is saying the plant-based diet is the best. And how nutritious seeds are, which have always been part of our diets traditionally, seeds and spices and so forth. So now the modern scientists have caught up to that, and they're sort of trying to own it. And how you talk about the circadian rhythms and how we should all be in tune to nature. So obviously they're saying, yeah, go to the park. It makes you parasympathetic. So it's interesting how the science is catching up with what was told in the Bhagavatam thousands and thousands of years ago. But we do need to connect dots sometimes in what's in the Bhagavatam to how to apply it today. And I really enjoyed this discussion you just had about how to go back to farming and stuff. I mean, my community comes from 52 villages near Jamnagar in Gujarat originally. Then we all left, I think because of famine and hardship. They all left about 100 years ago to go to East Africa. And then from there, we spread across the whole world. But we've all got our roots in nature because we all come from villages. And I remember growing up here in London, my grandfather always used to dig the garden. And I used to be around him in the garden. And I used to love growing things growing up. And I've lost that taste for it now. But the last few years, my wife, luckily her company sponsored the famous Chelsea Flower Show. So she was able to attend that quite often. That inspired her. We started growing some vegetables in the garden. And so it starts small. And I'm seeing so much of around that in the wider community, not just devotees, but generally they're teaching kids like in school now how to grow, have a little vegetable patch and just to learn about bees and nature. So it's happening in the wider world as well. that
Oh
people
yeah,
are
yes, absolutely. There are so many communes springing up without even Krishna consciousness. They're
Yeah.
understanding the need for their children. They're doing it more for their children to be in touch with nature, to escape the horrors of city life, to escape addictions. Because, one addiction leads to another addiction, it starts with video games and then you're watching stuff on internet, and before you know it, there's porn addiction, there's food addiction, there's drug addiction, there's pedophilia, because they attract pedophilic people who are predators on the internet, because parents have no time, the kids are sitting there, and these people are on the prowl. I mean, so many consequences of our lifestyle. We don't even realize how difficult this situation is. So my parents who have become aware of all these things, they're scrambling to save their children from all these errors. And they're not even Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
They're actually moving away from city life. They're finding land somewhere, and 10, 15 families are coming together, just living simply, just, cooking their own food, growing their own food. And they're living like that.
Yeah.
Without,
I don't know
it
if you
doesn't
know.
last long, because then fights break out, conflicts happen, so they cannot sustain it. But the move is definitely there.
I don't know if you know about the term allotments. In England, we have allotments. So people who don't have gardens, they can rent a bit of land from the council for very, very minimum amount of money. And they grow their own fruits and vegetables. And there's like waiting lists for that now in the UK. It's so popular now. So there's definitely, like, in the wider world, there is definitely a trend towards this.
Yes, awareness. Yes.
Roots, and people know that. But yeah, the wisdom in the Bhagavatam is huge, but we just need to sometimes decode it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're talking about scientists and are saying the first thing you should do in the morning is get outside and get daylight into your eyes, because we're so disconnected, and it changes our whole body chemistry. It's just that one simple thing.
Right.
There's so much out there to learn, and I think Krishna consciousness is very much on the pioneer side of it, but there's a lot we can learn from other people as well.
Right. I agree. There's so much to learn. There's so much to do. We just have to make one step towards Krishna, and he takes many, many steps towards us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Yeah. Mataji, we are at the 1 hour mark. So
yes. If no more questions, no more comments, we can end the call.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your class and for nice discussion, for your insights. It is very helpful for all of us. Hope one day we'll start thinking towards that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Our great Sridevi Mataji ki jai.
Guru Maharaj ki jai, Sadhu Sangha ki jai.